So I have another computer build for you guys. I'm updating my wife's computer from the 011 Dynamic Lamborghini edition to a new case, which is actually one that you've already seen quite frequently. We have the Phanteks NV9, much bigger than what she had. It's the same case I have, but it's actually the Mk.2 version, so it's actually an updated version from what I have. I'm kind of curious myself what all is actually different. The overall build seems to be identical. It's got the back door, the back panel seems the same here. All the fan compatibility is identical. I fully dismantled her computer, got everything sitting around ready to be installed. So I was going to give you guys an overview of what it's like to build in this thing. I already know what it's like to build in the, I guess, Mark 1 variant, which is a joy. There's so much space in this case. It's a lovely case. Very good for airflow. You can have 11 fans, 2 140s here, 4 120s there, 3 140s, 3 140s. I actually have my 420 in my computer. I made a video of me installing the Kraken Elite 420 AIO. If you already saw that video, if you haven't, it'll be a link in the description. I assume dismantling it is going to be identical, where you need to take the top off to be able to access any of the panels. Some safety tape, making sure nothing opens itself. Yeah, and I actually don't have this door on mine. Quite honestly, I don't really know how this door is supposed to work, because with the power supply here and the power cord sticking out probably a good inch or two, this would put a very uncomfortable bend on it. You have your manual and your parts box, which I love Phanteks for how they did this, because they actually gave you a nice plastic parts bin. Since I use mine for spare parts, in addition to my lovely bowl, of course. And I've built in another Phanteks case. I've built in Lee & cases now. I even built in the Corsair 4000D airflow for my server machine. This one is hands down the best. You truly do need to take off the top panel to do anything here, which is actually kind of nice. It is still thumb screws. I don't know why it was tightened so tight, but you do that, and then it should just pull and then lift. Seems and feels the same, so I'm assuming the overall chassis is the same. Man, they really tightened this. Holy crap. Okay, they're captive, and I think that's actually loose. Comes off the same way, yeah. Producer is struggling to figure out where to put glass panel. This door should, yeah, I thought I remembered it just sliding out. Just has some hinges. Slides off of these real nicely. So we had to increase the ISO because it's a black case, because she wants a black case. What's cool is, and you can kind of see it, well, actually you can't see it, but there's 2 LED strips here that slide out. At least on mine, the way it works is you pull. Okay, they changed it. No, they didn't. It looks the same. It's moving, but it's like tight. Well, I need to take them off because getting to the grommets is easy. There we go. Okay, so that was quite tight. But you have these 2, and it's with compression pin contacts, LED strips that line here and then down. This one slides down. Yeah, it slides down. Man, the tolerances have gotten a lot less. Oh, wait. I think this one's different. I think this one might actually be screwed in the back. Well, so they do still have this screwed in. If you can see the screw. Producer. Can you zoom in? You're a producer and you're not producing. So it appears this one could not escape being the kind of screw it is, unfortunately. Oh, there's one on bottom too, just like in my case. Haha. This glass panel comes right off. So you will need a screwdriver to take this off. It is not entirely toolless. So this should just lift up. So and there we go. Upon looking at this, it appears to be identical to the Mark 1. 3 hard drive slots. I think these are 2 more hard drive slots here, but you have all your basic connections here. So at face value, it's not that different. You can unscrew this to have this whole fan tray come out. Start with motherboard and AIO. I didn't actually detach the AIO from the motherboard. It's all one unit. Might be annoying, might not. I think it'll be fine. She also has these 420, 3 140 blocks. There's going to be one on the bottom, one on the top. And then we are also getting one for the back, a 280, and our AIO is going to go here. So there'll be a little bit of space here without a fan. Best we can do, and it's going to work perfectly fine, more than fine. I guess it would kind of make more sense to put your AIO on top. What you're saying would work perfectly fine, too. Basically, it would work fine.
Oh, my God.
I was a little worried that this would be sketchy. As you can see, the AIO is still attached to the motherboard. But I figure, with the help of producer, this might be made a little bit easier. Oh, my God.
What?
It's sitting.
Oh, it is?
I don't trust it, but it's sitting. I don't know how this, suspended itself. Do as I say, not as I do. Sketching this over, having these connected was a bit sketchy. So I think we're going to do what my wife suggested and put this up here, because the tubes physically will not reach. This is as far as it reaches. It won't get all the way up here. Kept this all together, saved us so much time. All right, motherboard is fully in. It certainly is interesting seeing all the white contrast with the black. I actually kind of like it.
It looks good.
Yeah, I think it looks pretty sleek and clean. Unfortunately, having to put it up top means there will be a little bit of a gap here, which is precisely what I had to deal with before I got my 420. But the case actually comes with magnetic panels that can like stick here and cover that up, so it won't be as much of an issue. So I only put 4 screws on. I don't think more is necessary.
Jesus, take the wheel. Why isn't it tripoding?
Why is she not tripoding correctly? Oh, this leg was short. One short leg is all it takes. Radiator attached. Never took the fans off. We have the fan cable. And then we have the AIO cable. I might just go ahead and connect it and then string it back. There's a nice wide space right there. And you have to figure all the cables aren't going this way. You can't hear it, but Producer is currently dying because she let out a big one. You are so lucky. I'm going to be nice when I edit this. So up here we have our CPU header routed from over here. I wanted it to go here, but there isn't really enough space. I don't know if they honestly, I think they may have misaligned some of these grommets because, not grommets, but like the gaps here. It's right behind the motherboard. Are they intending for people with smaller motherboards using this? Which wouldn't really make sense for such a massive case. Yeah, you can see here, the motherboard is covering up almost all this. I have this space here, but that's basically all I have. There are grommets over here to actually route stuff, but I don't know why they did things this way. It's a bit frustrating. I do love how Phanteks did this. How you have like these plastic routes here with a really tight Velcro strap. Oh, I just remembered. This LED bit here, which does have a screw here. Down here, this screw right here is what prevents you from taking off the other RGB strip. And luckily they give you just enough clearance to unscrew it. This guy right here. You look at that, it slid right off. So the cool thing about this, there's 2 connections here. You can change how it's connected. I believe the way I did it on mine was this way because it made the most sense. I was actually able to get cables to route through. You building at home may need to do the same thing because you actually get space here. When you have this like this, I mean, what are you expecting to get through there? It's covering most of the grommet. I mean, that looks like a lot of space. It might look like a lot of space on camera, but when you have thick motherboard cables, you're going to have a heck of a time getting that through. USBs are connected. Looks good. In case I wasn't clear, your power supply sticks out the back here. So this is where your power supply pokes out. So all your cables are going to run this way, plugged in here. And they have this really nice big tie here with this route, I guess, for the tie, that you can route up all your cables. I personally didn't do that on mine because I didn't feel like it bought me much. For those of you with a lot of cables, you also have one up here as well. So this case has plenty of like tie ability. It is a bit expensive for cases. Most cases are generally like, you could get decent cases for like $120 or so, $150. This one's closer to $300. But you really are getting a lot for what you're paying for. I kind of forgot it came with a fan bus. What we have all of our fans connecting to is this nzxt controller, which I'm not very familiar with. I've never had it before, but from what I'm seeing, it seems kind of nice. It has a direct PCIe power cord, so there is no need for like a SATA power or a daisy chain, as well as a USB 2 connection naturally. But it can, of these, which uses the nzxt connection here, it could take 4, 2 here, 1 here, and 1 here. It also has RGB and a fan header as well, and it is magnetic, which is nice. So the way you get the fan tray out so you can actually attach your fans, there is a screw here in the back, which is actually not super easy to access, and it's a thumb screw, so you would think, oh, that's easy, but when they torque things too high, then it's not. Whoever assembled this case, be it a machine or a person, good lord. So now that I unscrew that, slide this out, lifts right up. So you can actually change how you want it. If you have it like that, it's more angled. If you have it like this, it sits flat. First 420 assembled. Just gotta drop it down. Gotta get it to fit in the grooves. Screw in the back and not over torque it so that you can actually use your hands, or shall I say your thumbs, for the thumb screws. There is a thumb screw, which like all the other thumb screws is incredibly tight, captive. And then you pull this tab and this whole tray comes off, making it easy to put fans on. They just sock it on here. rest it into, and then it'll just screw on, send it in through the grommet. So this will just go in through grommet down here. So for 6 RGB fans, 2 cables, absolutely marvelous. And then this is our CPU fan, which is just going to connect directly into here. That's for the AIO. That's independent of all the other stuff. Then you got some nice cable ties over here, all Velcro, which is awesome. So she will still have a Lee & Lee controller for her strimmers. Also, for the record, if any of you have the Strimmer Plus controller and you have both the 12-volt high power as well as the 24-pin strimmers, you have to have one in here, one in here. You can't have both in here because otherwise this switch literally toggles between these two. It's completely strange. I don't know why that's the way it is. And I just realized the adhesive holding this on is still on the other case. I could do motherboard front or back. I'm going to choose on the back. So the power supply actually goes up here. So let's get those power supply screws. And with the nice placement of these grommets, I should be able to just slide it right through. It also just occurred to me, there used to be a tray here that is now gone because that's where I did the shovening with my cables. There's nothing to do the shovening with here. The shovening was cool. It was painful because that shovening hurt. Okay, well that certainly is not conducive. Excuse the producer from having a rave. Oh, and something I've talked about, I think in a couple of my videos, computer videos, is getting the CPU plugs plugged in here. In some cases is an absolute headache because it's at the very top of the case. This case makes it a piece of cake. What sucks about this is getting this to fit with all the cables that you may have. NZXT controller is plugged in, and actually the NZXT controller is done. That's all fully connected. Yeah, I'm actually excited. I got myself a Lee & Lee 1300 watt like L-shaped power supply. Spoiler, that video might be coming out soon. The next big hurdle is going to be the graphics card. So let's get that plugged in. Her graphics card is a 5070 PNY. So her graphics card, like I mentioned, 2 strimmers. We have the 12-volt high power strimmer right here. So not much room. I haven't done the best job of cable management, so it's going to make this a little bit challenging. But her one SATA SSD is going to just kind of graft itself. There is one final thing to do besides wireless antenna, and that is she has an extra hard drive, M.2, that will not fit on the motherboard, this Hyper M2 card, and also she has this. So apparently on the bottom, and I think mine might be like this too, got a triple high guard here, so for your big beefy graphics cards. Since she has a gap here that we don't want air to escape through, we could easily just put these on. Yeah, we could put my white ones up there too. Since I got my 420, I didn't need these. So I'll put one up there and I'll actually put the other one down here. Substantially blocks it, yeah. Okay, I will say the one problem I have with this case, which just occurred, is one of these screws, or I guess it doesn't matter what screw, goes into a little hole, a channel that goes all the way across, and it's stuck in there. I'll have to get that out eventually. You gotta basically rotate, like flip your computer to get it out, because I've lost screws countless times like that.
Hey, so it's Editor Me. The one thing that I didn't do with this build that ended up causing a sort of issue, it wasn't integral. The 2 LED strips that went across here and then down here did not work on the first boot, and it was because there was a couple of SATA connections. I believe it had channel A and channel B on it, and each one was for each of those strips, one for the horizontal, one for the vertical. I did not plug them in, so naturally they did not have the power to turn on. So just be aware that when you're building this computer, make sure to plug those 2 SATA connections in so that those LED strips actually light up. I figured I'd mention it because I didn't mention it during the recording, because it wasn't until after I stopped recording and we actually did the first boot that those 2 lights were not working. As far as I recall, that was the only issue, so just be aware of that if you're building in this computer to plug those in.
The final build, still left the plastic on. I'm leaving it on until we actually get it where it's going to live, so we don't get a bunch of hand smudges on it. Looks very nice, I think. The black case with the white components actually looks really cool. I'll have a PC part picker list in the description to all the parts if you wanted to see what all went into this particular build. That'll be it for this one. I hope you guys enjoyed. See you guys in the next computer build.
Producer